Hello, friends, and welcome to the Union Labor Advisory Network. I'm Mike Fina. Today, I'm extremely proud and privileged to have Tafari Smith, SEIU Local 246, with us today, working at New York City Sanitation, to learn a little bit more about his background, history, and experience. Was introduced to him from the executive leadership of 246 to talk about the great work that you're doing, not only in your job, but inspiring others, as well as teaching the next generation of what these careers are really about in the city. And I read the article that was recently published this past month. I was like, we got to get connected because you're really doing phenomenal work.
Thank you, Mike.
And really like to just share your message, what you've been doing, how you got started, how you got your foot in the door. And I'll shut up and let you just take it from there. It's like how you even got your job with 246 or within sanitation.
All right, so I'll give you a bit of a backstory of myself. My name is Tafari Smith, 37 years old. And, as a child, I used to, back in Yonkers, I used to go with my mother to the library. And they had these black and white Mac books. And, like every other male, right? We love the picture part.
Yeah.
So, I used to go to the library and just grab all of the Mac books and sit on the floor and just flip through the black and white pictures at the time. I mean, the Mac trucks at that time in the early 90s, they were like the RD Mac trucks and with the E-Tech engines, now that I know. And, just enjoy the trucks. I would have my trucks and just crash them and the Hot Wheels and an automotive diesel thing. It was just always me. And, like one of my earliest memories of, like one of my first video games was a game called Road Rash, a motorcycle racing game. And I just took to it. I was just always just a racing, a talented racer. It just grabbed my attention. And I would sit in the house for hours and just play racing games, right? Whatever it was, motorcycle, cars, whatever it was. And so it always grabbed my attention. And how can I say? So time went on, and all the while my grandfather was a body worker, and a little side shop in the corner of the North Bronx, and just watching him and my own passion, and then just growing up and just being a kid, having the Civics and the Integras and the BMWs, and just being outside with your friends, and everyone is just turning wrenches and cracking jokes. And one thing led to another, and then I get to learning about the SCCA. I know I'm fast forwarding, but bear with me.
Yeah.
I heard about the SCCA, and I wanted to join that. I wanted to be a race car driver. So around 17 years old, I had a Civic, a fully raced out Civic, carbon fiber hood, trunk, all kind of suspension and bars inside of the car, and I wanted to be a race car driver. I didn't know that race car drivers were about 120 pounds, like the real good ones. At that time, I was about 150 pounds. And as time went on, I ended up being 250. So race car driver,
Wasn't your thing.
it wasn't for me. So I went and I told my mother, long story short, I told my mother, I say, Mom, I want to be a mechanic. I want to be a race car driver. I want to be a mechanic. So she was against it because what we see mechanics as, at least in the Bronx, is just guys who just change flats, or they don't have the success that a white collar job would tailor you to, So you didn't know that you could be a six-figure person turning wrenches. And so I went to school. It was just in my heart. I couldn't turn it down. So I went to school. I went to New York ADI, and at that time it was a trade school. And I was at the front of the class. I was at the front of the class every what did they call them? I was at the front of the class at every class. I want to say it's different groups of classes, brakes, engine performance. I was at the front of the class. Everyone, straight A, gold patch student, and I loved it. And so I graduate. I went there for the auto and diesel program, dropped the diesel because I came straight out of high school, straight to trade school. So I must have had like a week summer break. Killed me. So I went from high school to auto and diesel trade, and I had to drop the trade. I was like, I don't want to fix trucks. I don't want to do trucks. I want to do cars. Graduated honors for automotive. Then my first job out of school was a truck company. And I'm like, that's awesome. You know, so, and, you know, so there I was fixing things for the city. I was fixing fire trucks and street sweepers and MTA buses, municipalities. And it was a cool experience. And from then on, I just kept advancing. And so I eventually ended up at Mac. And what you don't know, it takes experience to learn, is that the field has a natural progression, right? And the natural progression is, let's say you fix buses, right? Because there are only about 5 or 6 engine manufacturers in the diesel industry. So like, let's say you work for a company called Cummins. Their engines are in MTA buses, street sweepers for DSNY. What else is it Cummins in? Like UPS, FedEx. And the natural progression, if you worked for a company called like Cummins, you would go to MTA if you want to go city or federal. Or you could go UPS, whatever the case may be. So the natural progression for Mack trucks coming from a Mack dealership is either sanitation, not DEP, sanitation, DOT, and I want to say there is another one, but I can't remember right now. But sanitation and DOT, natural progression from the dealership. And so we all talked amongst ourselves in the dealership, and we're like, man, like the test is coming up for sanitation, DSNY, Disney for nicknames. The test is coming up for Disney, and man, those guys make a lot of money out there, and they got a lot of benefits, this, that, and the third. And I'm like, whoa, wait, what? They do? Like, we don't have to do this, we could do that, and be labeled as a government employee and receive cool benefits and do cool things. And they were like, yeah. And I was like, okay, sign me up.
Exactly.
Yep. So that happened, and yeah. So
that was your transition into a unionized union position.
Oh man, Mike, say it again.
Unionized position. Unionized position.
Man, yep. What people don't know is that you could come into the city provisionally and take the test later on, and the city is good with keeping its employees, because one thing about the city is that it's hard to get in and it's hard to get out. But it's such a lovely position. It's such a lovely position. Like all the mechanics in my agency, we all have personal emails. Everything ends in at dsny.nyc.gov, if I'm not mistaken. And we all have personal emails, and we're all government employees. And that's something that I take dear to heart, because you know, I've seen some of the coolest things. And, you know, I wouldn't trade the position for anything. I love it. It doesn't matter what agency I'm in, because what happens is when you come in as a mechanic, auto mechanic, diesel, whatever the case may be, you're under NYC Local 246.org. Check the website. And Instagram also. And being in the local, the slogan is, we keep New York City running. And, you know, we're FDNY, we're NYPD, we're DSNY, we're DOT, DEP, parks, you know. And it doesn't matter what agency you're in. When we have union meetings, we're all together. We're all one. We all do the same thing. We all share the same passion. And, you know, we're all here to complete the same mission. So, me personally, it doesn't matter where I land. I just lucked up and landed in DSNY, but I feel like just being part of the local 246 is one of the coolest things. It just is. You know, we get to, you know, depending on which way you want to go with it, because, you know, your career is yours. you could work with sister agencies, and I work with NYPD a lot. You could work with FDNY. So many things that you can do. Your agency has a lot of funding to do cool things. FDNY does, NYPD does. It just because we're all civil servants. This is a humanitarian job. It doesn't matter if you're a mechanic, you sweep the floor. It doesn't matter. We're all here. We're all one.
Yep.
And we all keep the circle going. We all keep the ball rolling.
Absolutely.
Yep.
So tell me, Tafari, I mean, again, your passion obviously is in auto mechanics. You loved, as a kid, we went through
Yep.
all the different trucks,
Yep.
and found that career path within the city through your friends. Now you're in the city with Local 246, meeting your whole crew, loving your job, being a labor advocate, which you are. I know you are. What have you been doing outside of 246? I mean, again, you have such a passion here today, reading some of the articles, some of the community service that you're giving back, just educating the masses or the younger generation of what these career jobs can actually look like. I mean, you found your passion, turned it to a career, loving your job today, and now, again, just from reading some of the articles, you're inspiring others through your career path to let them know that these jobs are available, they're out there, and if you love what you do in a certain area, you could find that.
Yep.
So maybe elaborate a little bit more about some of how you got, now you're in with 246, great organization, running the city, helping keep, New York moving.
Yep.
Some of the community work, how you got in touch with, I guess, some of the NYPD or some of the community groups that you're serving today.
Okay. So a little background on myself, right? I come from Yonkers, and I've been a boxer all of my life, basically. And I learned how to fight by my uncle bringing me down to the Yonkers PAL, right? And we had sergeants and police officers, and, these guys were our mentors, sweetest dudes that you can meet. And they used to take us around to national tournaments, local tournaments. They flew us around America, and the police budget is a beautiful budget, especially on the community side. And from coming from the inner city and being able to receive these opportunities and seeing how much these guys impacted me, just the exposure of like going to Augusta, Georgia and waking up 4 a.m. and running 5 miles in 100 degrees, it sucked, but it was something that you couldn't pay for. You and your team are out there running, doing your road work. And, and that was because guys gave back. They were humanitarians. You know what I mean? And a lot of us don't have that. Not even the inner city, just people in general. The world is so cold. Nobody cares. So nobody cares to give back. And I do, And me being here, seeing that I have that I'm in that position to give back that I didn't even know about until I looked deeper into my agency and my job and my position. I was like, oh, okay, wait a minute. So I got in touch with one of my then supervisors, Randy Hall, and he got me connected with a detective, first grade detective, Tanya Duhaney, right? And, I would tell her, Tanya, it's all about the kids. It's all about the kids. That's the only thing that I was renting. It's all about the kids. We got to give back. We got to help. And NYPD Community Affairs, they're the CAB Bureau, Community Affairs Bureau. They have all kind of programs that the civilians don't know about and that they're available to the civilians, right? So when I saw them, I was like, oh, I was one of these guys, one of these kids. And I know where to go and bring it back to. And I've done so much personal work and just, personal growth that I'm like, I know what to do and where to do it. And then I'm like, oh, NYPD, they have a window open and they're taking on sister agencies. They don't mind to work with us, And I saw that opportunity and I was just like, wow, okay, let's do that. So I came into, I started doing like things out in Queens. I was dealing with Queens for a couple of years, about 2 years. when I was night shift, I would go after I would get off shift, and I would do things with the Community Affairs Bureau. We went to a couple of schools and, you know, fixed cars out there, showed the kids how to change tires and check fluids. Gave some men classes, some men talks. I've done like men talks with like Senator Comrie out in Queens also. Just a lot of things. And let me not lose my thought. But I saw that you were able to, you know, just do cool things, and then, you know, so I just jumped on board, and that was all. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, well, listen. Without it, I've read your story. I know what you do, and when you talk about being a humanitarian or just learning from, you know, your family, your community, these opportunities, and just giving back to the people that have supported you, you know, throughout your career. And then finding these openings to help educate the younger generation about what it is that you found your passion for is, you know, it's just a beautiful thing. And it is something to be, you know, to recognize. It's a reason why we're sitting down today to say, let's educate the younger generation about what these professional careers can look like within city and state universities, agencies, as well as some of these public, these building trade or skilled trade career opportunities can look like. And these are paid apprenticeships. So you are paid to learn these careers. And then if you want to take your progression on, you know, do some night school or online, you could just, the world is your oyster. And again, just seeing somebody in your profession being able to run the city, you know, keep those the cops moving, the firefighters, the transit moving day in and day out. I took an express bus in today. So rolled smoothly, thanks to you. But these are really great opportunities. And for me in this position right now with the Union Labor Advisory Network, you know, our mission, like yours, is to support, educate, and promote these union careers and our communities. And you're giving back to communities, you know, and I know you're making an impact and you're making a difference. You have these connections like I do today, and say, let's connect each other. Because I know after today, we're going to be tapping you into some other groups. You had the opportunity to meet, you know, we're sitting here, and thank you to CWA 1180 for allowing us to utilize your office today, which is the backdrop. But again, just having these connections with like-minded union locals, organizations, and people, you know, together we're stronger. And I'm just so thankful to get a chance to sit down with you, meet you, learn a little bit more about you. And again, you know, thanks to Mark and Joe and the whole executive board of Local 246 for getting us connected, because I know there's more things that we can be doing. And we'll utilize social media to share your story. And then just, you know, again, if you're in Queens or the Bronx, you know, information that's out there, send it over to us. We can put these events, these educational open houses together, put that on our calendar. And I think, you know, education's key. And just directing that future generation, because there's so much that's out there. We can go on social media today and get lost for hours.
Man, what?
And I'm in it right now. I get lost, but you know, but what I'm focusing on is all union labor opportunities, and watching other locals across the country inspire or educate the masses on what these jobs are about. And it's not just the jobs, but it's all the benefits that you get too. Your retirement benefits, all the supplemental benefits that come out, that have been negotiated through your executive board. So for me, it's like there's no other choice. If you go to union or non-union, for someone that wants to make money or have a decent retirement, live, you know, have that retirement and have a pension for the future, these are just phenomenal opportunities. And for me not to be able to give back or promote the organizations that have supported me in my past career, you know, this is just what we have to do. So. You know, Tafari, I just can't thank you enough, man. Coming out, taking the time out of your day to come, you know, out of work, come back here to sit down and just hear your story. I want to thank you.
I thank you, Mike. I thank you for your platform. I thank the local 246, and just anybody who helped me. You know, these things are, you know, second to none. These are the ULA. These are beautiful things that people should know more about. You know. Yeah, I appreciate you, Mike.
Absolutely, absolutely.
For sure.
And we'll be editing this, getting it out to the masses. try to put it out there and then make sure people are aware of everything that's going on. And again, we'll be on future podcasts together without a doubt. Absolutely.
Got to.
Sharing your story, you're bringing me into the Bronx or Queens. Let me see what you guys are doing. We'll get out there.
Yeah, for sure.
All right?
Yep.
Well, Tafari, thank you again so much for everything.
No problem, Mike.
And we look
Thank
forward to future conversations.
Yeah.
And just keep doing what you're doing because you're doing phenomenal work.
I
Thank you.
appreciate you, Mike. Thank you.
You got it. You got
Thank
it.
Oh, man.
All right, buddy. All right. I'd like to thank all our sponsors for helping to build and promote the ULA Network. It is because of you that we're able to support, educate, and promote informative content relevant to labor. Please subscribe, like, and share our channel and media. I'd like to thank you all for your support.